Anthony Hartwig here with you, continuing our spring sports previews. We're joined by the head coach of the Hubbard Eagles softball team, Bill Amero. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, before we dive into this season and all the expectations that you have for the team this year, I want you to kind of reflect on last year. We don't get a chance to have those exit interviews after the season ends. Obviously, you guys did a lot of good things last year. You lost a couple of players to graduation. Reflect on last season, how you think it went, what kind of things you learned about this roster, and what kind of things that you can use to build from last season into this year.
Well, last year was my first year at Hubbard, and we're fortunate to have four exceptional seniors who all went on and are currently playing college ball. And our ace of our pitching staff was Haley Croyle, and she was sailing along really well until she had a serious leg injury, which cut her season short about a week before the tournament. It was unfortunate for her, but the good thing is she's healthy. She's actually pitching at Akron right now. She's got a 6-2 record, so she's doing a great job. So the ending is she's very healthy. We finished the year 6-4, lost in the districts. Unfortunately, we would have loved to have our ace of the staff on the mound when we played, but we didn't. And those are the cards that were dealt to us, and we made the best of it. But I think our seniors last year showed a lot of leadership because we had a lot of freshmen last year, and hopefully we're going to use that to spring forward into this season and years to come.
Yeah, it was kind of that bittersweet thing last year where you did have a lot of freshmen, but also a lot of seniors to lead them. So, heading into this year, how much do you think having that leadership is going to impact some of your younger players that are maybe stepping into bigger roles this year now as sophomores instead of freshmen?
Well, it's kind of funny because to see the girls that were freshmen last year, how basically they are kind of being thrown into a leadership role as sophomores this year. We are extremely young. We do not have a senior in our program. We have one junior. We have 12 sophomores and 5 freshmen. So as you can tell, those sophomores are basically, along with our one junior, are basically running the program. They're probably stepping into a lot of the roles that seniors normally do at a very young age. And they're feeding off of what they learned from the girls last year. And then I think they're putting their own little flavor on it as well.
Like you said, a very young roster that can have good things and bad things to it. Obviously, it'll help you with the program for the next 2 years because you're not losing anybody next year, but you might have to deal with some growth pains. That being said, I want you to introduce us to the team, go down your roster, and tell us some of the big faces that we should watch out for this year on Hubbard softball.
Sure. Our lone junior is Phoebe Rusnak. She will be pitching for us, and she's kind of our handy Hoover of the infield because we literally could play her at any position in the infield. And she is a quiet leader, an excellent softball player, has very good mannerisms, carries herself with a lot of confidence, and she has kind of become the mother hen for all the younger players, and they all look up to her immensely. We have sophomore Lauren Komarek, who is our shortstop, had a great year last year as a freshman. We probably see her as being our leadoff hitter or number 3 hitter. She's just a very good athlete, and she also is a silent leader, just leads by example. Just a very good softball player. Our catcher is another sophomore, Emily Warren. She got a lot of playing time last year between third base, catching, and outfield, and we anticipate her being our starting catcher, and she is developing a good relationship with our pitching staff. Also, sophomore Kaylee Schultz, who is going to be pitching and also playing first base. I think that she gained a lot of confidence from her freshman year last year, and you could see her playing with a whole lot more confidence this year versus last year. And our the one freshman, we're excited. We're excited about all the freshmen, but we have one freshman I think is going to get a significant playing time. Her name is Haley Taylor. She is a pitcher and an infielder also, very much like Phoebe. We could put her anywhere in the infield. So I think that she's going to get a lot of innings on the mound this year, and she's going to be thrust into some very key situations at a very young age.
Let's go over now your schedule. We've met the team. Let's go over your schedule. Obviously, we'll start with that league that you play in, the NE8, a very tough softball conference with a lot of great programs that are always in conversations when it comes to districts and regionals. What's it like navigating the NE8? Now you're in year 2 of being in this league. What's it like to play some of these teams like the South Range, the Girard, the Poland, Jefferson, Struthers, and all those great teams in the NE8? What's it like navigating the league, and what do you expect out of it this year?
Well, I expect us to be very competitive in the league. You're right in your assessment. There's some very good competition. We have the distinction of opening up with Poland next Monday. They have a brand new field and complex that they're opening up, and I know they're excited. And we get to be the first team that they play at their field. Also, South Range is always tough. Lakeview, Girard, all the teams in the conference are tough, and I've established through the years a good relationship with all the coaches, so we work well together, and we enjoy competing against each other. As far as a non-conference, I really wanted to step up the schedule this year just to introduce these girls to what is out there in softball outside of Mahoning and Trumbull County. And they're being introduced to this at a very young age. I want them to just to see what's out there, the competition. Our non-conference local teams, we play Ursuline, West Branch, Boardman, and we are traveling down south. We have a doubleheader on a Saturday with Richmond Edison and John Glenn High School. Very strong perennial state powerhouses. We're also playing Reynolds out of PA. They're very strong. We scrimmaged them last year and had a good contest. And we're participating in the Wendy's Classic this year, too, going down to Ashland for a weekend. The two definite teams I know we're playing are Centerville and Anthony Wayne. Anthony Wayne is a D1 powerhouse. And we also have locally Matthews and Rootstown on our schedule. So to be honest, it's a pretty stiff schedule, and I want these girls to know what it's like to play against good competition, and I only think it's going to make us better. Everything we're doing is for the present, obviously, but then obviously for the future as well, because you could tell with the youth we have, we're building for the long run, and I think we're going to be very competitive in all these games.
One of the interesting matchups I see from your non-conference schedule, of course, Boardman. You have a lot of history with Boardman. You know your name is imprinted in Boardman softball. What's it going to be like to play against Boardman and to be able to kind of go up against a team that you have so much history with?
Well, I always have a soft spot for the maroon and white. I think once Spartan, always a Spartan. And I know several of the girls in the program. As years go on, I know less and less of them. I'm good friends with their head coach, Fred Moots, and their athletic director, Marco Marinucci. So we have good relationships, and we're in contact throughout the year with various things. And I just know that playing Boardman, they are a strong program. They're very talented. They're well coached, and it's just good competition for us. Sometimes it's tough to look over there and see those colors, and I'm in the other dugout. But that's just the way it is, and it's just a game that's going to make us better as a team. And I'm glad that they put us on their schedule.
Last year, during the same interview before the season, we asked you what drew you to this Hubbard job and what made you come back into the high school coaching realm. This year, I want to ask kind of what was so special about Hubbard that made you keep wanting to come back, and what is it about this game and this sport and coaching at this level that keeps you coming back and keeps you coming back to the sport?
Well, I think number one, I have a passion for coaching, and I have a passion for the game of softball. Besides my coaching, Hubbard, I also help coach a summer league team. I operate Sluggers Indoor Complex in Poland, And pretty much 365 days a year, I do something that has to do with softball, whether it's coaching, giving lessons, running clinics. And when I'm bored, I get online and I go to softball websites, just reading coaching articles and things like that. Hubbard has been a great situation. The athletic director, Kevin Hogue, is a great guy. I appreciate all the help and guidance he's given me. The girls have been great. They are just like they're kind of like a sponge. They just want to absorb knowledge, and they really truly want to get better, and they work hard. And I have two great assistant coaches, Matt Skarbinski and Lauren Mon, who really make it easy to coach. We're looking over there and having two people that I consider to be very dear friends by my side. So I think collectively as a group, we have a good coaching staff. And I just, like I said, I just have a passion for coaching, and I have a passion for the game of softball.
Coaches get great by trying to grab resources, and I know you just said that you read a lot of softball articles online. I'm sure that you try to take in from some, really great softball coaches in the national scope. Who are some guys that you've heard from, or you've watched how they coach, that you try to take into as far as resources and trying to make yourself better as a coach?
Well, I'm active in the state softball coaches association, and we have a outstanding clinic that we put on every year, Memorial or Martin Luther King Day weekend, and we always attract a lot of great coaches at that clinic. This past year, we had Mike White from the University of Texas and Mike Andrea, who's a former Olympic coach and coach at Arizona, and it's just interesting just to hear them talk. When they come to the clinics, they're usually swamped by a lot of coaches that have different questions and want to share war experiences and stuff with them. And I don't do that, but I just kind of stay back and just watch how they carry themselves, listen to them talk about situations they do and how they approach it. And you really find out that, situations we come up against as a coach at a high school level, they have very similar situations at the college level, and they started out as high school coaches. They may have more resources being at the college level and things like that. But I just, pretty much I have a lot of different softball websites I follow. They always have a lot of different practice plans and I don't know, just different philosophy. I just think that as far as coaching, you can always learn. And I know even just talking with the coaches in the area and seeing how they handle situations and different things they do with their team. I just think that as a coach, you have to be willing to evolve, and you have to be willing to always learn.
Talk about learning and evolving. That's a perfect segue into the next question. Obviously, you've been doing this for a while. How do you think you've evolved and grown as a coach over the years? What kind of big changes do you see in maybe your coaching style and philosophy over the last several years?
Well, I think that as a coach and just in life, you mellow with age. I know that when I'm out there coaching and stuff like that, I mean, to be honest with you, I have a granddaughter that's the same age as the girls I'm coaching now. So pretty much I come off as a grandfather, where in my younger coaching days, you came off as the big brother, and then you come off as dad. And now I'm coming off as grandpa. And that's okay, because being a grandpa is an awesome thing. But I just think that I don't know. I think I'm way more knowledgeable. It's kind of like that saying, "I wish that I knew now. I wish that when I was younger, I wish I knew what I know now." I sit back and think of how I would possibly could have done a few things differently, but you can't have any regrets. You move on, and you just evolve. And I just think that I try to relate to the players, talk to them a little bit more. I have two very able-bodied assistants that do way more of the physical thing with the girls, as far as hitting infield practice and hitting outfield and stuff like that. And not that I can't, but they enjoy doing it, and I'm not quite as sore at the end of practice either.
Let's get zero back on this team real quick. Obviously, you have a couple of days here, less than a week before opening day on Monday. What are some things on the checklist still that you want to try to, narrow down or iron down before Monday, before opening day?
Well, I mean, just like every team, you're hoping to be outside as much as you can. You can get so much more done outside. We were fortunate enough; we were outside the last 2 days, and we're looking to being outside this afternoon. But looking at the weather forecast, that may be the end of it until Monday. We're just going over a lot of different situational things to do. I'll be very honest with us being so young. We're not 100% sure. We have a lot of combinations because we have a very talented group, but we're really not quite sure the best person to put it this position, depending on who pitches too. So there's a lot of different combinations. We know that we're going to have a lot of situational things to do. And with us having a young team, I think the biggest challenge of us as coaches is not to be in awe of the other team. I mean, we have most of our team are 14 and 15-year-old girls, maybe getting 16. You play against seniors on other teams. They're 17, 18 years old. They're playing up quite a bit. And we just need them to play with confidence, not be in awe of what's going on, and understanding that, yes, they can compete and they are just as good. And I think once our girls' confidence grows, their talent and the record as a team will also grow as well. So I think just developing confidence in these young players.
Coach, before we get you out of here, you've already kind of given a shout out to your assistants, but I want you to dive into them a little bit more, introduce them to us and what they bring to the softball program and how much they help you along the way.
Sure. Well, we're fortunate to have two very good assistant coaches. The first one is Lauren Mon. She is a Boardman product. I met her through softball and through my wife. My wife taught Italian at Boardman High School, and Lauren was one of her students. And I run different softball camps and stuff at Sluggers, and I'm always looking for high school players to help with the clinics and give back. And Lauren started helping me with my clinics when she was a sophomore in high school. And here she's a sophomore, junior in college right now, and she's helped me every year. And I would just watch her and her mannerisms with the girls, her knowledge of the game, and I'd say, this young lady has coaching ability, and I see coaching in her future. So when I got the job at Hubbard, I reached out to her, and I was very fortunate that she said yes. She brings a lot to the game, but as a former catcher, I kind of let her work with the pitchers. I think that's one thing you talked about, how I evolved as a coach. I kind of let somebody else handle the pitchers if they're knowledgeable enough, and Lauren certainly is knowledgeable enough to do that. She developed a very good relationship with them. And our other assistant coach, his name is Matt Skarbinski. Matt has his roots in Boardman as well. I used to coach him when he played Little League Baseball when he was 10, 11, and 12 years old. That's how far back we go. I became good friends with his family, stayed in contact with him throughout the years. And he used to coach summer ball, and he had a daughter who graduated from Fitch a couple years ago. And I knew that he knew a lot about the game, was a good coach, and had an itching for getting back into softball. And when I had a chance to snag Matt up, I did as well. So I'm just very fortunate to have them.
Coach, thank you so much for your time today, getting us a solid preview of Hubbard softball this year. We can't wait to get the season started next Monday at Poland, and then your home opener the next day on Tuesday. Weather permitting, we're definitely hoping for better weather than last spring. Coach, thanks again for your time, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you for everything all you guys do for high school sports and athletics. We're lucky to have you guys.
You got it, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Take care.